Hey y'all, it's Alexis. It's been a minute since I made one of these videos. As you can see, it's an impromptu video because I'm in my car and I road trip. So before anybody starts commenting about this, look, just know I road trip a lot, y'all. This car is like not a play car, but it gets dirty really quick on the outside. But yeah, I wanted to make this video a long time ago actually about isolation. I actually wanted to make it while I was going through my isolation period, but it was like every single time I wanted to make it, I couldn't make it. So now that I'm officially out of my isolation period, now I kind of feel, now I feel like now is the time. So let's go ahead and kick into it. So this video will not be edited. It's just, if I mess up, hey, bear with it. The isolation period, to me at least, if you are a Christian, is basically when God sets you apart from everyone else. So typically the symptoms that you will get when you're in the isolation season is loneliness, not even confusion, because God is not a God of confusion, but you might feel confusion in a sense of why am I being alone, or what is happening. Everything around you might start to feel like it's crumbling, rejection, things like that. Or you might even, kind of like myself, you may find yourself sometimes where you're trying to do something, right? Or you're trying to fix this relationship, or you're trying to get this job, and it's like everything you're doing, even though you're giving your 100%, it's not working. And typically, you know, when you find yourself not getting the job, not, you know, in that relationship, and then all your friends around you are just kind of leaving, I hate to say it, but if you are seeing those symptoms, you're probably in the isolation period, or isolation season. So basically, when I went through my isolation season, it was pretty short. Well, let me not even say short. I've actually been going through the isolation period as far as physically, just being away from family. I've moved from state to state for the past 4 years, but I knew I was in the isolation season maybe about last year. It started last year when I got the Navy, and I was just by myself in Seattle. I didn't know anybody. I was basically working at a job that, you know, I was really, really grateful for. I was very grateful for that opportunity, but, you know, everyone around me, I wasn't happy. You know what I mean? I felt lonely. I felt far away from family. And so thankfully, you know, God moved me to OKC, where I'm currently at now. And it's really weird because I still feel lonely at times. Now I feel more, I feel okay now because I talk to God way more. But at the time when I first moved here, I was, you know, I thought me moving here would make me feel less lonely, less this, less that. I was going to get into a relationship, all these different things, right? And even when I got into a relationship, I still felt lonely. And thankfully, God took me out that relationship. But, man, isolation. Isolation. I recognized I was in my isolation period, actually, once I moved out here and when my relationship ended. And I kept feeling alone. And I asked God, I said, God, whatever's going on, because you know how like sometimes your mind just feels, you know what I mean? I said, God, change me. Whatever I need to do to feel better, change me. And he did. And that is when I actually started fasting. Now, I feel like I'm going all over the place with this video, so bear with me. I'm just telling you guys how my isolation period went. Anyways, so when I asked God to change me, it was like, he basically told me fast, get off of social media. So I got off social media because at the time, it was like everything I was seeing, it was either fake looking, I knew how that person really was living or really acting. It was a lot of things, and it was a really big trigger for me. And got to get off social media. So I got off social media for 21 days. And during those 21 days, I considered it my fast because one, he told me to do it. And then two, I was sacrificing something for him, something that he told me to sacrifice. And man, when I tell you, like, his voice became more clear. I started seeing all my friends around me just disappearing, even close friends, like as in 10 years, you know what I mean? Like lifelong friends. Is my phone shaking? Sorry guys, look. It's still shaking. Well, I'll hold it. But, you know, I just started seeing like friends and everything disappear. And while I had, you know, my dream job, finally, it was just like, I couldn't understand why I was still unhappy. Why was I so alone? Why was I this? Why was I that? And God kept telling me, you're not alone. You have me. Everything I promised you is going to come. I just need you to become the woman that I need you to be in order for you to get these things. And so, man, I started journaling more. I went back into my church. I was already in church, but there were times where I would skip church because I was sleepy, or I would, skip church because I was out of town, or, things like that. And I just wasn't putting my full foot forward. Honestly, even now, I will say that there's still way more that could be given God. But during the isolation period, you do feel lonely. But I really say, if you are in that season, really trust him and ask him, am I in my isolation period? If you're not really, if you're unsure of where you're at in life, ask him, what season am I in? Ask him, God, can you give me the knowledge to know what's going on in my life? God, change me. Whatever you need, ask him. All you have to do is ask him. During my isolation period, I also asked God to reveal the truth of people. God works fast, y'all. If you ask God to get rid of something and it's part of his plan, he's gonna do it. I tell y'all, less than 48 hours. I asked God about some of my friends. I asked God about the man, because after our breakup, we had the post-toxic, breakup, spill. And I kept asking God, I'm like, remove him if he is not for me. After that, anything I tried to do to save that relationship, it wasn't working. There were times where I would even try to, pull up or contact this person, and nothing. It was, man, God was blocking everything. Everything not for me, he was blocking it. And I mean, it was something that I had never experienced, because there were times when God had blocked things before, but because I was in my isolation period, he was taking them out. I need her to be alone. Take them out. I need her to be with people who are of me. Take them out. During my isolation period, even though I was losing people, God had actually replaced them with friends. It's actually weird, right? I lost a friend who was we almost hit the 10-year mark. I regained a friend who I had been knowing since I was 11, 12. Isn't that weird? I also started dating men who were just better for me. And I know that sounds crazy, because 21 days, right? How did all that happen in 21 days? But it can happen. I'm telling y'all, man, God has done amazing things in my life. And even here's a quick testimony. I know it's a little off topic, but one time I was in a waiting season, right before I went to the Navy, right? Literally, physically waiting just to go. Not waiting on a man, not waiting on a job. Well, I guess job, because we're going to the Navy, but in the sense of other, other things, right? I lost my car. So I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for, to head to the Navy. I'm like, man, I can't wait till I go to the Navy, because then, I'm going to get my money in boot camp, this and that. And during my waiting season, there was times where I still needed to make money, before, I think I was waiting for 2 months. And I had just lost my car. I had no money in my account. And during that waiting season, I just remember surrendering completely. I was like, well, God, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm going to see. Do y'all know that my online sister, my friend, shout out to Miranda, she gave me her car, her older car, because she had bought a new car. And she gave it to me for free to use until I went to boot camp. So I say that testimony, that really quick testimony, to say that when you're in your isolation period, or even your waiting season, or whatever season you're in, but for this video specifically, isolation season, just remember, God can make anything happen. Don't listen to these videos where it's like, God will never give you this, or what if he never gives you this? If God put it on your heart, it's gonna happen. I guarantee it, man. If it's on your heart, it's gonna happen. If God says this person's gonna talk to you, it's gonna happen. If God says, hey, this person is not for you, he's gonna take them out. Whatever he says, it's gonna happen. Whatever he promises you, whatever he puts on you, it's going to happen. But ooh, y'all, see, I got the door open with these bugs. Ooh, I don't know what kind of bug that is. But it's gonna happen, y'all. So I want to talk about that real quick on isolation. Just, if you have those symptoms, 9 out of 10 you're in isolation, and just, y'all, sorry for all the noise complaints. I know y'all be complaining in my comments about the noise around me. But if you're in the isolation period, seriously, surrender. I'm telling y'all, if this is the sign that you needed to hear, surrender. Give it all to God. You will be amazed at how fast God will give you something. I'm talking fast. 48 hours, he will answer your question if you need to get rid of somebody. I'm telling y'all, if y'all need a sign, he gonna give it to you in 48 hours, guaranteed. But man, surrender, man. Surrender. I'm even talking to myself right now, man. Surrender. Currently, I have graduated from the isolation period as far as loneliness, and now I am in my waiting season. And I know I'm in my waiting season because it's everything around me, it's like everything's going good. You know, the people are gone who needs to be gone. But now I'm just waiting. And it's really weird. And I know I'm in my waiting season because have you ever been able to see something? It's like right there. And you can almost touch it. But it's like, can't touch it yet. But it's right there. It's right there. And I'm being so impatient. I'm being impatient. I know impatience is a symptom of the waiting season. Even in isolation, it's a symptom. But I know right now, because I even asked God, I'm like, God, where am I at right now? I know I'm not being necessarily isolated, but where are we at? I'm waiting. It's coming soon. Whatever these several blessings are, it's coming. But man, y'all, all I'm saying is, whatever season you're in, especially if you're in isolation, pray to God. Take that time and really just relax. Revel in it. Talk to God. He's isolating you so you can talk to him. Y'all, I know I was all over the place in this video, but hopefully you got the message. Surrender, man. Hopefully I'll make a more updated video. I'm in my car and I really just had to make this video real quick. So peace and love. Talk to you guys soon.